Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It is your boy, the Cardinal Nick Thompson, host of the Talking with Thompson podcast. And as you can see on the screen, or if you're listening via Spotify, you don't know yet, but I got a really good friend of mine in the wrestling business. He took time out of his day to come and talk to me today. I truly appreciate it. We got John Torres, JT, man. How are you doing today, brother?
It's a marvelous Wednesday evening, I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm
really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, I am super excited to have you here. You know, like when I was reaching out to people who wanted to be a part of the podcast, you were on my list, but also like when you commented saying like, dude, we might want to make this happen, I was like, hell yeah. We both had the same thought in mind. So I'm very excited today to hear more about your story, more about what got you into where you are now, and just know you a little bit more. I know we talk a while, but we were chatting it up this past weekend at Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Shout out Pure Vanguard Wrestling. You know,
hell of an amazing night that was.
Hell of a show. What a great show. My match is already up. You can hear JT do the best ring announcing I've ever heard in my life. So go and check that out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So you want to just get right into it?
Let us go. Let us go.
So speaking of Pure Vanguard Wrestling, you know, have to ask you, what got you into professional wrestling? Did you watch it growing up? Did you who are some of your role models with it? Like, was there like a certain manager or ring announcer who got you like, oh, that voice got me, I want to do that someday? Or did you just like someone in the family watching it? I'm curious.
Oh, we're taking a deeper dive into the lore of JT today.
Yes, we are.
The way I explain it, the way I describe it is I basically got my love for pro wrestling off of my dad. He's been watching it for however as long as he can remember. I'm only like half his age. But the way I see it, he had such a deep passion and love for it. He was collecting so many of the makes and models and things like figurines, and even nowadays he has like a bunch of Funko Pops put away somewhere of folks like Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, folks from as many generations as there are to come. Wow. There was a point in my life where I had separated from my dad because I was living with my mom, and she had this biggest spite for professional wrestling. I had no idea how I managed to find it again. Yeah. But I did see some friends and some mutuals on social media platforms who talked about, hey, this wrestling rig stuff is actually kind of cool. So I'm like, people do this in the neighborhood now?
Yeah.
I had to take like a really deep dive, and next thing you know, I'm like 2 months settling in from just making it out of trade school, and I see this in a Facebook post. I see a flyer for an indie show, Pure Vanguard Wrestling Iron Sharpens Iron, which happened in October 2024.
Wow.
That was an amazing time. That was essentially like one of the gateways for me to get more into indie wrestling. And I've seen and participated in so many different promotions over the years. Test of Strength, Tetsu Pro. There are plenty of others out there. Mass Movement Wrestling, which is a brand new one that started up in Bristol in December 2025.
Oh, wow.
It's funny. The day after Pure Vanguard's Coronation 3 and Mass Movement had their own show, I was doing timekeeping then for that show.
Really?
And it was an amazing time. They specialize more in like hardcore deathmatch style wrestling. As a matter of fact, the main event pitted America's favorite Wrecking Ball Legursky against deathmatch legend Necro Butcher.
Wow.
And it was basically just a meat hook slugfest if I've ever had any better of a way to describe it.
I love the way you described it. You know, I've met Wrecking Ball. I've shared locker rooms with him. He's a super nice guy. So yeah, but like that's honestly awesome. Like I personally, from my side, like I didn't really grow up with anybody liking wrestling. So to hear that you and your dad, you know, kind of bonded over that a little bit, and then you found it. I feel like the Pure Vanguard indie show that you went to, I feel like that was kind of like your calling. Like it was like, no, like you're not gonna forget about this. Like this is something that we want you to have. So like I said, man, super talented. So I'm happy you followed through with it because
Appreciate that. Thank you.
led us to here, man. It led us to here. So, but speaking of outside of, you know, with your dad and everything growing up, what were some of your other interests? Like, did you have something that like did you collect like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like Legos or like you know I don't know.
It's interesting you ask because like the biggest thing ever for me when I was a youngling then to whoever I am now. I say that as if I'm enigmatic. I can't English. The biggest thing for me is video games. You see it all over my person. You see it on my branding. It's all over the walls. There are drawers full of
Yeah.
But there's a specific there's like a specific group of them I go to, and it's always old school. Like I remember stories of my mom telling me that the very first video game I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on my uncle's Sega Genesis that she had borrowed from him, and her and I we would do the two-player racing mode all the time, and it was just a blast. The music was incredibly memorable for me. Oh my goodness, the music in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
I have for the GameCube, I have some type of Sonic game, and the soundtrack is banging.
Listen, if there's one thing the Sonic the Hedgehog games do not mess up on, it's the music. Even on the worst rated Sonic games, the music is like the best thing out of it all.
Yeah. like I'm trying to travel through to try and save Tails, and I'm bopping to the music as we're going. But yeah, you got something. I want to bring this up. So you got something this past Saturday. So I knew you were big into retro games, and we'll get more onto that in just a second. But you got some gift from my opponent, Alan Compass, Crocodile King. What? Like, I didn't actually get to really talk to you about it. But that looked so sick. It was some retro type game. You plug in PlayStation controllers, he was saying.
Something along those lines.
What was that? Can you tell us a little bit more? Like, what? I'm intrigued.
Well, I still haven't gotten it out of my car. I gotta find somewhere to put it. I cleared out a lot of clutter in my bedroom, so maybe I'll find a good spot for it later. But essentially, what he describes it as is a 2-player arcade machine. You basically just plug a power source in, plug a display into a TV, and it's essentially preloaded with like tens of thousands of retro arcade games inside. King of Fighters, Street Fighter, Pole Position, Dig Dug, Frogger, you name it, it's probably got it on there. And I have yet to see if there are like customizable options for more that you can add to it, because the palette has to be filled. It has to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. And they probably got like Donkey Kong on there. They probably got like Pac-Man, maybe. I feel like they would have like all the actual like arcade type games that like the machines used to have, like how you're saying. Like, have you seen those, by the way? They're like
I have.
They're like in like Walmart now. Like they're selling like actual like old retro arcade games. Like I saw they made like a WWE Superstars one, or like, but they can't put WWF because of, copyright.
Of
So
course.
they did that, but I think they also did like Pac-Man. I think they did a Donkey Kong. But what's the one with the rockets where you're shooting up at like the things flying in the sky? I'm not good with like uh I forget what it is. Like I have it on my GameCube because I got like this retro combination.
It's off the tip of my Galaga.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
That's a good underrated game for the time being. Personally, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, but for the time being, when it probably came out, listen, that's a pretty solid game.
I had a video I had done about it a little while ago explaining how it's like the midpoint of a 3-game trilogy. Because Galaga, when it came out, it was like a global phenomenon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
it's gotten a lot of remakes and references in pop culture. I think a character once referenced it in one of the Marvel Cinematic movies of the Avengers.
Oh, really?
I think.
See, I haven't watched all the Avengers, so you'll like I've seen Infinity War, never seen. Wait, did I see Infinity War? No, I saw Age of Ultron. I never saw Infinity War or Endgame. I'm a big Spider-Man guy. That's it. I'm not gonna sit here and I tried watching them all the way through. I can't do that. I don't know if you've done that, but I can't. More respect to you if you did that. Because
the only time I've ever sat and watched a movie series from beginning to end was, and it wasn't in one sitting. There was this one time on a whim. I think it was like sometime during my latter high school years, where my mom and I would sit down with an Amazon Fire TV.
Yeah.
We would watch the entirety, of Harry Potter.
Really?
From the Philosopher's Stone, the Sorcerer's Stone, I guess it's called, to Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Wow.
Man, what a time.
I've never seen any Harry Potter.
And I'm pretty sure I've forgotten almost every single moment about them because it's been too long since I've watched any of them again. But those were good movies. Those were really good movies. It was a nice way for me to get along with my mom a lot more than I was connected with her back then. And the funny thing about all of this is, supposedly she is the one who got my older brother, my dad's side older brother, into all the Harry Potter stuff. Like he's a bigger Potterhead than I am about all of this.
Wow.
I would assume they're called
Potterheads. We'll call them, I like your term for it. We'll call them Potterheads. It's funny.
That's what my mom calls it anyway.
Tell me a little bit more about like your love for retro gaming. Like when you were younger, I know we kind of talked about like your interests and you mentioned retro gaming, but like what games outside of Sonic the Hedgehog, what games like stood out to you? Like, man, I'm really loving this game, or like what games do you play now too? Like, how does that compare? Like, is there a difference? Were you like a Lego Star Wars guy and now you're like a Halo Reach guy? Like you know what I'm saying? Like that, like big strategic difference. Like, so what were some of the games that you played when you were a kid?
Well, I would say it's something along the lines of, yes, there is some kind of drastic difference, but at the same time, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
Based on everything my mother told me about stories when I was young, the first video game I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But as far back as I can remember, we had my brother and we shared a PlayStation 2 where we would play all kinds of games like SpongeBob, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Jack and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy, legendary 3D platformers, by the way. Some of the, oh my goodness, I can't even describe how amazing.
SpongeBob Battle of, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. SpongeBob Battle of Bikini Bottom
Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Battle for Bikini Bottom. I've heard.
Mhm.
So is that the video game where he's with the army hat on the cover?
Yes,
Yes,
it is that one.
I'm cultured in SpongeBob. Like I have the movie game, but continue.
Mm. So it's a strange case with somebody like me, because like, yeah, we had a bunch of all the new stuff that would come out every now and then, but at the same time we would have that kind of attachment to what was back when, and we had seen that a lot in the PlayStation 2 GameCube era, where it was like every gaming company had some kind of collection of older games they had released. Like Atari did one, Capcom, the Street Fighter guys did one, the Taito, the Space Invaders guys did one, Konami, Tecmo. There were collections, compilations all over the place. The one that made me really get into like the retro aspect is a 3D platformer, Pac-Man World 2. One of the special things about Pac-Man World 2 is scattered throughout each level, you're able to grab these arcade tokens. And after you grab a set number of arcade tokens, you get to unlock extra playable games in the arcade, of course.
Oh,
You
that's
had you had the original Pac-Man, you had Pac Attack, which is a Tetris style puzzle game with Pac-Man and the ghosts. It's very gimmicky, but it's very fun.
and it's like you're paying homage to like the original. Like when you unlock, that's
Mhm.
cool. I've never heard of that. You know, like a 3D type Pac-Man.
Oh, they exist. They've existed since 1999. The first
Really?
one was in PS1 time.
Really?
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm so happy. We're talking about retro gaming. I don't know anything about these games, you know? Like I just would pick up one at a store, you know, and be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I want this one." So,
Mm.
like this is actually like wow. Like
And
I didn't
then one of the cool things about discovering Pac-Man is I managed to find out that there were more games that the company did. And there was this it was somewhere in between 2006 2007 where I discovered this game called Namco Museum, which
Oh,
is essentially an arcade-based collection of classic Namco arcade games. You have Rally X, you have Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, and a lot of their other more obscure hits that nobody ever really knew about because A, they either sold very low production quality, or B, some of them never came out of Japan to begin with. So it's
really?
like there's this gold mine that they have, and the only reason we know about them is because they're featured on these little disc or cartridge collections like 10, 15 years later.
Wow.
And the tradition still kind of carries on today. There's a third party developer that I really, really love to support because what they've been doing lately is they're gaining the licensing technology from some of those older games and re-releasing them onto new platforms. And with that, they've uncovered so much more of that gold mine. Like there
Wow.
were games that have only been available in Japan that have never gotten outside of the country until 20 or so years later. One instance is a game I really love, like the sequel to my favorite arcade game of all time. It's called Dragon Saber.
Okay.
Essentially, what it is it's a vertical shooter, so something a little bit like Galaga, but instead of it being all spaceships and aliens, it's medieval fantasy. You're playing as a dragon shooting fireballs at
Oh,
otherworldly demons of bygone eras.
that's so sick.
It's so fun. And one of the best things about it too, and oh my gosh, I should talk about this a little bit more. One of my favorite aspects of video games, besides the gameplay, is the music. Like 9 times out of 10, if the music doesn't really draw me further into the game I'm playing, there's a guarantee I'm gonna drop it.
Yeah.
But the thing with the older ones, oh my goodness, the older soundtracks just did it too clean.
Yeah, and they got like that little like 8-bit kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like they got like that 8-bit kind of retro style, which makes it like, oh, dude, like I don't know about you, and you probably will agree with me on this, but couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I put in that GameCube disc where I was playing like Pac-Man and stuff like that, and all I had to do was just click Galaga, you know, or like Pac-Man, and all I hear is that like that retro 8-bit music, and I'm like, oh, I definitely knew this game slapped in its prime. Like that's all I need to hear, and I'm like, okay, like this was definitely a top game when it came out. So I agree. I think the soundtrack, honestly, I think a soundtrack could make or break a game, like how you're saying. It just like the games I play now, like I don't know. How do you feel about it? I feel like with the games that I play now, they use like pop culture more, and they put like the pop songs in that like I could hear on the radio, and like I don't know. I don't get that. I get the special vibe, but I also like don't. It's kind of like a mix. Like I kind of miss like how you're saying the retro style. So what's your intake on that?
So, I mean, one thing I've discovered over the years is there are these other smaller kinds of games called indie games. Essentially, what they are is they revive the aspects of retro gaming, but they're not retro games at all. They're retro inspired, yes, but everything is made like completely brand new. For instance, 2014 Shovel Knight. A lot of people consider it the greatest independent game of all time because of its classic style platforming, the music, and oh my goodness, the music of Shovel Knight. Jake Kaufman, if you hear me, you've got some really good things going on. Please keep up the good work. And I specifically bring up Shovel Knight because Yacht Club Games, the same developer behind Shovel Knight, released a game just a couple weeks ago called Mina the Hollower. It's like a love letter to a top-down dungeon crawler style games like Diablo or early versions of The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
But they also add this delay style combat system to it. A lot of people will say it's inspired by games like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, things that I have some kind of trouble connecting to, not because the gameplay is difficult. It's more like a style that I can't really get around to trying. But with projects like Mina the Hollower, they kind of drive me further into what exactly is it they're trying to do. And again, with the music being as good as it is, Mina the Hollower, oh man, it only lets me play the game more because imagine I find more music on an already amazing soundtrack, and it's something that sticks with me for the rest of my days. And there is a good chance that these things will stick with me for the rest of my days. I don't even know if I can count like how many amazing video game music like playlists or soundtracks off the top of my head. But oh my goodness.
Give me your favorite one if you could think of it right now.
If I could think of one,
like your favorite like video game soundtrack that like anybody listening should go listen to that right now.
Well, I don't have a favorite just yet. I'm still trying to determine that.
All right, so favorite song then.
But if I have to pick one soundtrack that I would recommend people to listen to,
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VI.
Final Fantasy. I'm writing this down too because I'm gonna listen to it.
The soundtrack of Final Fantasy VI is pure diamond. I can't find a single bad song in that entire soundtrack.
Yeah.
Composed entirely by RPG legend Nobuo Uematsu, who
Wow.
was actually in the Northeast United States area just this past weekend. I had a really close friend of mine in this gaming club that I'm in who went to the Carnegie Hall Saturday night to see Distant Worlds Final Fantasy music in concert. And the composer of the music himself, Nobuo Uematsu, was there in the audience with the other folks. So he sends me a picture of Uematsu just waving back to everybody. And I'm just like, whoa.
Oh man.
What a magical time that must have been.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about that entire performance was this is as he described it to me. There's this one particular moment in Final Fantasy VI
Mhm.
where there's this incredibly groundbreaking opera recital,
Okay.
and you could definitely hear the opera style tracks in the game itself, but seeing it live in person has to have been something so much more special.
Yeah. I can.
And I can kind of admit to the idea of having that feeling of witnessing your favorite video game music come to life,
Mm.
because there was a moment where Distant Worlds themselves came to the Bushnell Music Theater Hall in Hartford, Connecticut, and that same friend told me about it. He bought 2 tickets. We went that night. My favorite song from my favorite Final Fantasy game came to life
That's
before
awesome.
my eyes.
Did you get goosebumps?
I got oh my goodness. I'm getting some now just thinking about it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, music, like we said, like can make or break a game, but it also we don't realize how much music has like an impact on our lives and everything. Like you hear that first note, and you're like, no way, they're playing it,
Mhm.
and then you don't forget that moment, you know. Um, but yeah, thanks for sharing that. I mean, like I seriously, I learned a lot of knowledge just from now talking about retro gaming. But
Happy to provide.
what are some games you play now? I don't think we talked about that. What are some games that you that now you play?
Hmm. Honestly, it's kind of hard to jump on the train because I know there are people who are really excited for releases like Soros and Pragmata. It
Yeah.
depends on what exactly it is I'm looking for. If it is this game that everybody seems to be hopping onto, I
Mm.
mean, there will be moments where I try it, but I can't really like firmly grasp the idea of, hey, I like this too. There will be moments where I'm like, something doesn't sit right with me there. There
Yeah.
have been cases with games like Elden Ring where I only played like 2 hours of it and no more because it's a massive game. Don't get me wrong, and it looks amazing, but it's not really something I think I can sink that much time into. I mean, the one instance where I've done everything I could to complete a game from beginning to end was when I was in trade school. After educational hours, I would plug my Switch up to my TV in the dorm room, and me and my best friend, we would play Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah. Yes.
And what a magical moment that was. It wasn't until May of 2025 where I picked up a PlayStation 5 for the very first time.
Really.
The very first game I picked up with it is Final Fantasy 16.
16.
There are 16 of
There are
them.
16 of them.
16 mainline ones. Don't get me started on the spin-offs. There are too many of them. But Final Fantasy 16 was one of those cases where Actually, it wasn't May 2025. It was May 2024
Mm.
when I picked up my first PlayStation 5. I bought Final Fantasy 16 the day before because it was half off, and I think that kind of led me to, let me make the final move.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, hey, if the price is right, right?
So I started that adventure, and I had an on and off until October of 2025 when I finally beat the game itself.
Mm.
What a journey that was, from beginning to middle to side stuff to the end. It was, wow. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's not getting that much attention for being number 16 since they started back in 1986, I think.
Wow.
But holy cow, what an
Yeah.
amazing time that was. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Clive Rothfield is one of the most resilient protagonist characters in any video game I've ever played.
Mm. I'm gonna have to check this out. I've honestly never played Final Fantasy. I'm an Xbox guy, so I don't know if they have it on Xbox. I guess they do.
They actually just released 16 on Xbox not too long ago. I want to say like 3 months.
Yeah, but I have the old Xbox. Now I can't believe I'm calling it old. So like I had the Xbox 360. Now I still have it. I have the Xbox One, and now things are getting moved to the Xbox Series S or X, whatever it is. So now I'm behind again. I'm like, oh my god, I can't get the new wrestling game, the new hockey game. I can't even try and get these like, these newer games to try them out. But
I get you there.
It's just it's just difficult, and they just keep releasing and releasing and releasing new things. And I get it, you got to keep up with the times, I get that, but it can be expensive.
Definitely, especially if you're an older collector like me.
Oh yeah, because if something's really nostalgic, like for video games, do they grade them too?
Sometimes
Sometimes
they do.
Because like they have like cards that get graded, they have toys that get graded. I didn't know about comic books. I'm like,
a dust-free copy of Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System dating back to 1985, completely untouched, shrink-wrapped, never opened.
Yeah.
Recently sold at an auction for $5 million. $5
million. So
$5 million.
So this is my question with it, and now you can tell me because you're more into video games than I am. What does the collector do with that? Do they just display it? I guess they would just display it, right? Because you're not going to open that. You just dropped $5 million.
No way you're going to crack open a $5 million.
Yeah,
that's the holy grail.
I was going to say, I'm like, you don't open that, because if you open that, then you're screwed. You just dropped $5 million for it. But like that's like the same thing. Like I like to get cards, sports cards. So I'm trying to get some cards graded. But I have trust issues. I'm afraid that they're not going to give me back my card.
So I understand.
Once I get it graded, like I can't open that thing up. That's the grade it has. I want to kind of keep it. So I get the sentimentalness to it. And I remember like a couple of my friends, we used to play like Super Mario 60, or no, Super Mario on the Nintendo 64. And it was like Mario was like it was like early 3D stuff. You could just tell it was, but it was so cool. And like when I think of retro gaming, that's what I think of, because I used to watch my friends play it, and I would just kind of be over their house.
Super Mario 64 is like that core element for everybody that just immediately unlocks something in the back of their mind. Supposedly, psychologists and doctors are using Super Mario 64 to cure dementia of all things, which is incredibly wild to hear about. But it's wild to me how positive the world of gaming has become since how long ago did we start? In the 1960s?
Yeah. So
But
So
as you noted, it is getting much more expensive. So
it is.
calm down a little bit on everything that's going on. Because next thing you know, PlayStation 6 is like, what, 3 years away? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it doesn't become a thing because, whew, uh,
Yeah. Money tight. But so we mentioned a little bit. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. We mentioned a little bit in there when we're talking about gaming, a little bit about dragons, a little bit about spitting fireballs, the whole 9 yards. Now, kind of makes me think of like an old age kind of thing. So that brings me to my next question. I saw recently you were at some Renaissance fair, right? Am I not mistaken? Or
indeed,
you were?
indeed, I was.
You're a big Renaissance fair guy. That's awesome.
I'm still relatively new to it.
but we've had conversations on the side, which the people who are listening don't know. We've had conversations on the side. I appreciate it. I love it that you keep me updated with updates to your character. It's awesome. I every time I see it, I'm like, hell yeah, John, keep it going, man. And it seems like the last time I think that you kind of showed me, you took like pictures with some people. So it seems like this is like a growing type of community as well. So tell me a little bit more, because I've never been to a Renaissance fair. So like, what got you inspired to be like, hey, I love this, or I want to try this out? And also, with the new Viking character that you have, does it have a name? And also, what made you be like, yeah, like I want to kind of go this route with if I'm going to dress up for these? So yeah, we're getting to the nitty gritty questions here.
I'm really getting into the nitty gritty. You got the good stuff going on there. So, a little bit more backtracking on all of this. In February 2026, there was a content creator I had discovered named Tank Tolman. A lot of people describe him as the emotional support Viking.
Yep.
But what a lot of other people know about him is he is a fitness influencer who likes to implement fantasy elements into his everyday endeavors, which led to this thing that I discovered amazingly would fit right in with me as somebody on the autism spectrum. It's a thing called fantasy immersion, which basically allows you to dissociate yourself from reality, even if just for a brief moment.
That's
to
awesome.
Imagine that, hey, something doesn't feel real here.
Yeah.
And it's important to me, as I've discovered more content creators like Tank Tolman and others like Bran, House of Strand, Ches Aiden, that having that little bit of childlike whimsicality in your life is somehow all we really need to keep things going, to make sure that we cross that next bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
In April 2026, I attended my first ever Renaissance fair. It was a Torrington Renaissance fair in Torrington, Connecticut. And I kid you not, I ran to like 5 different stores to put on a makeshift patron's outfit for that day. I wanted to immerse myself in everything that was going on.
Of course.
And I had a lot of fun.
Good.
I got psychic readings using Nordic runes. Ooh. And wow, what an interesting time that was.
Yeah.
I had seen,
very interesting.
Yeah. I had seen there was a spectacular for armored combat, which is essentially like knights fighting in shields and swords and axes and all that.
With the fence around, right? Like
with the fence, yes.
They're guarded around by the fence. I've seen that. It seems very cool.
It's very cool. And one of the cool things about the Brotherhood Knights of Gore, the performers who did said armored combat at the fair, is it's entirely unscripted. So you never know what moves are going to happen then until they do. So once they happen, it's like, oh,
that happened. Yeah, I would really expect those to be scripted, because they're in like all these like all this like armor that could really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So like they just pull moves out the wazoo. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna hit this guy with a high knee, and we're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna go with it. Wow. Wow.
Just dodge by the side of a shield stab, and next thing you know, you get punched by a buckler.
Oh God. Oh God. But yeah, it seemed like you had a lot of fun, and like
Yes. The
so.
the fair that I've been attending recently,
Mm,
its very last weekend is actually this coming weekend, the 20th and the 21st. This
okay.
one that I'm going to is Robin Hood's Medieval Fair being held in Harwindon, Connecticut. That's the one that really told me, hey, if I could dress as a patron, as
Mm,
a simple guy,
yeah.
why not go a little further and see what more I can do with what I want to become? So there was a lot that led up to this. With all the Viking inspired gear that I've purchased from this merchant named Odin's Treasures, I managed to get myself a lot of leather and linen sets,
Yeah.
um arm guards and bracers. Oh my gosh. There's a fur cowl, a fur pelt that I picked up
Sure.
just for a lot of added texture.
I was gonna tell you, I saw the picture of you, like obviously, like you sent me pictures, but like the one where you're all dressed in the outfit and the furs around your neck. I was like, this goes hard, man. Like
Oh man.
I
I'm
was like,
having too much fun putting a Viking together.
yeah,
Um I'm still kind of developing the story around him,
mm,
but essentially, like the main goal, well, his main thing is he was granted the power of the gods to protect all of those around him after seeing so much failure and fallacy and
mm,
too much loss during his younger lives. So all he wanted to do was be strong enough to wield the shield, not the sword.
that's
I
awesome.
mean, of course, if times come, he'll have like a battle axe ready, if anything. But he's primarily a protector, a guardian of sorts.
That's awesome.
And of course, with the green and brown, you
Yeah.
kind of have to match the earthy tones of like forests and jungles and other everyday environments that you might just find in your next fantasy world, whatever it may be for. So, with some inspiration behind Tank Tolman's Word of the World Tree Fitness RPG campaign,
Mm,
I've put together a shield bearing guardian named Johannes Tremors. Notice how it's another JT.
yeah, Johannes Trevors. I like that. That name is sick.
I
And
appreciate that.
the Trevor, what's his name again? Trevor.
Tremors.
No,
Tremors like earth shaking.
Johannes Trevors. Who was the? I'm sorry. Who was the guy with the? I know him as the content creator with the. Doesn't he march on the treadmill? That's that guy, right? And
Yes. Tank Tolman.
Tank Tolman. Yeah, because I saw you like repost something of his, and I was like, oh, and I like immediately when you just mentioned him, I was like, I think that's the guy who sang on the treadmill.
Yes.
Yeah, but Johannes Trevors, that is
Tremors. An M, not a V.
what is it?
Tremors, like earth
Tremors.
shaking.
Tremors.
Mhm.
Sorry, Johannes Tremors.
There you go.
Yo, there we go. Johannes Tremors. That is awesome.
Mm.
And like you just like thought of that name on the fly or like
Well, I did get some help from another good friend of mine in the gaming community.
that's awesome.
I
And
wasn't so sure what I wanted to go with, but what I did want to do was make it another JT. I think
yeah,
that's the thing with all my alternate character personas is I'm gonna
mm,
name them strictly with first initial J, last initial T,
the-
like the Wild West cowboy character I'm working on. That's another story I'm gonna go to another day.
yeah, yeah. We'll save that one for the next one.
Oh yeah.
But so sorry,
Hmm.
excuse me. Kind of going a little off topic here.
Mhm.
I know how we kind of talked in the beginning of the podcast about, how we met, through wrestling. You came to one of the shows at first. Scream tweet, you're a real one since day one. I appreciate it. But kind of backtracking even more.
Mm.
You're a ring announcer.
Yes. Hmm.
What what made you want to become a ring announcer? Was there did you take any classes in trades? I know probably in trade school you probably couldn't, right?
They definitely couldn't.
Yeah, say you probably couldn't. So was that just something that you were like, hey, I want to use my voice and I like this, and I think I can do a very good job because as we've talked and I've said numerous times, you do a very good job.
Thank you
I
so
will
much.
keep telling you that, but but I'm I want to know did someone in the business inspire you when you went to that first Pure Vanguard show?
Mhm.
Did you talk to Doc, who's the guy? If people who don't know, that's the guy who owns PVW.
Mm.
Um, did you have a conversation with him, or did you like talk to Matt DeCourt? Shout out Matt. Did you talk
Mm.
to him? Yeah. What made you really be like, hey, I want to do some ring announcing?
Well, first, um, one thing I'll say that kind of goes a little further into John JT lore
Yeah,
is um ring announcing is still an entirely new thing to me because I just made my debut last June,
yeah,
and I had been doing announcing stuff way before that. In high school, one of my teachers was in radio broadcasting,
okay,
and it wasn't until I want to say like 2 months after the semester started that he pulled me aside, gave me a script, and took me into the main office's PA room.
wow.
And it's been like that for all 4 of my years in high school.
So they knew right away you got some gift there.
They knew right away.
That's awesome.
And based on like all the voice acting stuff I had tried to do in the past with narration and
Yeah,
characterizations, and wow, I've come a long way since then.
yeah,
Um, but in terms of where the inspiration for ring announcing started, it first started with fighting games, specifically Tekken and Mortal Kombat. I have to give props to Dan Green. He's the voice of the announcer in Tekken 6.
okay.
He would just read off a bunch of character names and who's about of what. And that right there is kind of what set things in motion, because it's something that I've inspired myself to do for years. It's
Yeah,
something I've always wanted to do. Um like I know all the voice stuff I'm doing now is cool, but the dream would be to voice a video game, specifically a fighting game, something
yeah.
along the lines of either a Tekken or Soul Calibur. I love Soul Calibur. The narration in Soul Calibur goes absolutely nuts. But the thought of doing ring announcing for pro wrestling never really occurred to me
Mm,
until I went to the Pure Vanguard Wrestling Iron Sharpens Iron show. That was October 2024.
yeah, yeah,
And there I met Matt DeCourt,
yeah,
who is known widely across the Northeastern pro wrestling scene as the voice of New England.
yeah,
And granted, a well-deserved title because he's got that good.
yeah,
Um, it's conversations I've had with him in feats that I've seen him in, be it Vanguard or Test of Strength or even for Cosplay Championship Wrestling at Kineticon,
okay.
where it's like I've gathered pointers, I've pulled him aside after
Pick your
shows
brain.
to kind of dig a little deeper towards what is it that you guys do, and get down to the nitty gritty of, hey, here's how you should be reading this. Hey, here's how you present yourself to an audience, and everything just kind of flew from there. In terms of announcing per se, I've got like my bigger inspirations right now are Samantha Irvin. She used to do WWE SmackDown. A lot of people love Samantha Irvin.
So great.
Mm.
I miss her so much.
She's good. She's really good. Really. I also really love Austin Romero or Mike Rome.
Yep.
He does NXT.
Yeah. And you want to know
number one guy that really, really sets the bar for me is Justin Roberts.
Justin Roberts is very good. And you want to know
I send pictures of me in my full suit garb with the vest and all to some friends in my wrestling communities.
Yeah.
And like the first thing they do is reply saying the Dapper Yapper.
Yes.
Notably a Justin Roberts nickname. So I'm like, hello, second coming? How long have I been here for?
And you want to know what's cool about them too is like I tried when I was a little undecided, I tried to reach out to like a Byron Saxton or Mike Rome or even like randomly Epico from the tag team, but like Byron Saxton got right back to me. So like on Instagram, like Byron Saxton, he looks at his stuff. Same thing with Mike Rome. I'm almost 100% positive. So I would suggest if you want to like pick his brain too, 100%. But I love that like you took the time, and you're really owning your craft, man. I'm telling you, you're doing such a great job. And now you've ring announced me out twice, and it was something that we've wanted to do for so long.
For 2 debuts, right?
For 2 debuts. No.
Man.
The first one I was there already.
You were there at Supernova before?
But it was 2 debuts technically because it was your debut.
Oh.
It was your debut, and then this one was my debut. So it was technically 2 debuts.
Viewing each other's respective eye.
There you go. So yeah, but it's awesome, and I think it's so ironic how you love the fighting games, like the Tekkens, and I know we kind of talked about that a little bit too, but I could personally see you voicing a Tekken game.
I would love to do that.
I could personally see you voicing that, and I think it's actually pretty cool that you get to ring announce, and I feel like it's almost like a real life Tekken. Like you're like in this corner, and I love how you do it where when it's like a title match, you don't do it as we're walking out. You wait until we get to the ring, which a lot of people don't do that nowadays. So it makes you stick out even more. When we're in the ring, you're like, okay, introducing first the corner to my right. Like people will just say introducing first the challenger. You're like, nah, this is a big fight. Introducing first the corner to my right. Like you make it feel like this big thing, and I freaking love it.
Make every match a main event. That's the number one thing I've been told by so many people I've pulled aside for advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, do you do anything, like any techniques to like prepare you for, like, let's say like this past weekend, the Pure Vanguard show, a couple days beforehand or even day of, were you like, okay, I need to, I heard like, I have a friend of mine who ring announces and commentates as well, and he drinks hot tea because it helps with like his vocals. Like, do you have any techniques that like you do? Like, do you like drink warm water? Do you like to make sure your voice day of is like it's spot on?
Yeah. Lukewarm water is like number one for me in all aspects of things. And another thing that's always helped me, not just in ring announcing, but also like voice work in general,
Mhm.
is sometimes you have to do a little mouthing, stretching, and exercises so that way you kind of release a large set of muscles and joints that are essential to what it is you're trying to do.
Right.
Um, One thing that really sticks out to me is don't overexert yourself. If you know your limits, work towards those.
Yeah.
And over time, you will exceed them. Like when I called you out, for example, there was a note I made that I've never hit calling anybody out before.
Yeah.
And you had the honor of being that one
It was
person.
awesome, man. I'm telling you, the whole entire thing. It was awesome.
It always helps too to look back at feats that other people have done in terms of like practice and what it looks like to cast and summon your gladiators to do battle, as I like to say.
Yeah.
See how they do it. um I your ears well to whoever's speaking towards you about the advice you've got.
Yeah.
um as I did say, the most important thing behind all of this is lukewarm water. Even if it's just like a little bit warm, but lukewarm preferably. If it's a little cold, it might make things a little bit better. But the biggest thing for me is lukewarm water. I actually haven't tried tea,
Mm.
but I know there are people who have done shows like back to back days on end.
Cool.
And one of the things they've recommended is a combination of green tea and honey. Well, maybe it's a
Okay.
different tea. I'm not so certain which it might be, but
Yeah.
green tea and honey, I would assume, as people say, kind of releases the vocal cords a little bit so that they are able to consume a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, like, but I always heard that like a warmer beverage will help. But I honestly never thought about like the mouthing exercises, like probably like opening and closing your mouth, stretching it, make sure, like you don't hit some note that you don't want to hit, kind of thing, you know.
Hmm.
And you got to make sure to you know get everything right. That how you announce it. I see you before we go out there. You're always like, okay, how do I do this? Okay, this precisely, and that just shows even more of how professional you are. And
Mm.
you're seriously like, okay, I want to make sure I get this right. Okay, am I announcing this
Right.
right? Am I?
That's another thing you have to pay attention to too, is sometimes there will be cases where you'll work with people you've worked with before.
Yeah,
You want to reassure to them that you know exactly how they want to be presented upon everybody, be it this time or the next time. If they want to do something they've done before, then go
yeah,
for that. What the best thing to do is like ask for an update if
yep,
there is anything that needs to be updated then. And another thing, it really helps to connect with people you've never worked with
mhm,
before. There were a lot of new faces that came to Vanguard that night that
yeah,
A, I've either never worked with before, or B, I've always wanted to work with ever since I had seen what they're doing. For instance, Stefan Streets, Josh Guzman, um, TKO Kosenko, Jermaine Marbury. Those were all members of the battle royale match that we had that Saturday.
yeah,
And having all of that presentation there, like presentation, casting, ideas,
yeah,
direction,
yeah, 100%.
it helps to be connected with your people. So
Yeah,
that way, synergy works not just towards you and them, but towards everything: the crowd, the production crew, the camera crew, commentary, absolutely everybody.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And like a perfect example is like I remember I have a pretty tough intro. You know, when I'm a bad guy, I'll be like, I want to throw some shade at this place or something. So I remember you coming up to me and you're like, hey, you want to update anything? So last time, you know, we were in Massachusetts and you want to do this. And then I said something like, oh yeah, let's do this, like smelly uncultured swines or something. And you were straight up honest with me. Like, hey, this other one might be a little bit easier. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, let's not complicate it. Like you, and that's another thing. Like a lot of people, I feel like, don't give like the honest feedback, like with stuff like that. Like, hey, you might get a little bit more of a pop off of this, you know, and this will make me be like confused, and I'll sell it like I'm confused, and then so yeah, it's like again, professionalism, which is what you have. So it's like it's really cool to, you know, see from my perspective, from when I met you at Connecticut Wrestling Federation to when, you know, you bought one of my shirts and we got to talking. So from seeing you in a crowd and cheering me on and supporting me to now being able to share these moments with you, it's like a super, super, super grateful moment for me. And I'm super blessed that, like, you know, our paths continue to cross, because it's like, it's really, really cool to, you know, go like grow up in the business with people and then do stuff like this, like talk outside, you know, because I mean, we've had conversations, but we never had like this deep of a conversation before. So I'm like really, really thankful that you decided to come on, you know. And
I'm glad I could make it today. Thank you again for having me.
yeah, and I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end with one final question.
One final question for me.
And I'm inspired by Chris Van Vliet for this, but I was trying to think of a different question, but this question's just too good. JT, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? You can take your time, think about it all you want. It's all good. It's something that I was like, you know, maybe I will ask him today. And then I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, I gotta ask him. I want to ask him. So
3 things I'm grateful for. I have to think really deeply about this one. One thing I'm extremely grateful for is connection. Connection, be it between business colleagues or friends, amenities, acquaintanceships that I've made all throughout my years, for taking the time to see what I'm capable of doing, what I know I'm able to do.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for having this natural gift in my ability to speak.
Yeah.
Because without it, I have no idea where I would be. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people would say, hey, your voice is amazing, you should do this. So I'm giving it a try. And here I go. And it's been working out really well for me. And I'm so grateful for that, taking those opportunities as they came. And 3, life itself.
Yeah.
There may be, excuse me, there are like so many rocky moments in the life of John JT. And there have been times where a lot of things were questioned. Lot of things were questioned. But if there's one thing that life allowed him to do, it was to hold on for another day.
Hell yeah.
I've been holding on for another day for the past almost 4.5 years.
Wow.
And I right here am living and breathing proof that it does get better. You just have to hold on.
Hell yeah. I love that message. I love that. You know, and you know, in spite of, you know, June being men's mental health month, you know, and everything, it's truly a inspirational message, that you're sending. You're doing such a great job, not letting anything stop you. You're still going on with everything, one day at a time. Gonna make me cry over here, JT. But and you're there for me. I'm there for you. You were supporting me. When I was talking about the mental health, you shared my post the other day, and you were the only person to do that. I truly appreciate it. Because just like you, I'm trying to spread the word that things do get better. So yeah, so those were very, very. You're gonna get me emotional. Those are very good things to be grateful for, and I truly, truly, truly appreciate you joining me today.
I'm glad I could make it, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you want to come back on, because you are more than welcome to come back on anytime.
We will definitely keep in touch, because I had a fun time tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And everybody listening, this is JT. John, tell us where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on various platforms under the username John J. Torres 2000. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You'll basically find me everywhere. I also have my own website, johnjtorres2000-shop.fourthwall.com, where you'll find some of my merchandising equipment, as well as a global portal where you'll be able to find me on all my platforms, discover more of my personas and a lot of other things I've gathered myself through down the line. I'm known collectively on a wide variety of communities and networks as the voice of retro for my combined love for voice acting and old school video gaming. To me, they both work hand in hand with so many more things I'm able to do.
That's awesome. But yeah, go and support John. Go follow him. Go do everything. He's doing really good things right now. And I'm super excited for the future for you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining.
That's good things going on for the both of us. You see what
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Talking with Thompson, and I will see you guys in the next episode.
Fare thee all for now. Thank you.
Thank you.